Hey guys, today I'm going to be doing a book review on The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. In The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton, Aidan Bishop has to identify the killer of Evelyn Hardcastle. The catch? The same day repeats over and over again, and each time Aidan is forced to inhabit the body of someone at Evelyn's homecoming party. He has 8 days and 8 bodies in order to break the cycle and free himself from this repetitive hell. Dear God, you guys, I loved this book. Wow, what did I just read? Let's start here. This book is not going to be for everybody. Look on the Goodreads reviews. You're gonna see people like me who gave this book the 5 stars, just absolutely loved it, think it was genius, and then you're gonna see people on the opposite end who gave it like 1 star, and just everything about this book did not work for them at all. And the thing is, there's no wrong opinions about that, obviously, because we all kind of read things differently. What worked for me with certain aspects of this novel may not work for you. So yeah, once again, kind of look at Goodreads and make some judgments from there. But yeah, for me, wow, you guys, I love this book. I have been seeing this book floating around on Goodreads for the longest time, and I've always heard that there's just so many really interesting, unique twists and turns to this narrative, and just the narrative structure and just everything going on in it. And so I'm glad I finally got to see what the hell is going on in this book, because it definitely blew my mind. This book, even though it is a murder mystery sort of book, the thing is, it is still very heavily genre bending. It's genre bending in just really unexpected ways. You know how on Shrek, yes, I'm going to be bringing up Shrek in this video, the movie Shrek. You know how there's a line from Shrek when he's talking to the character Donkey, and Shrek is like, ogres are like onions because we're very layered. I know, it's a weird metaphor, you guys. This book, it's like Shrek, this narrative of these characters, it's complex. There's layer upon layer upon layer that you're constantly peeling back as every little chapter and every page unfolds before you. This is also the type of book that you're not going to get all of your questions answered. That is something very important to know and to understand, because a lot of some of the 1-star reviews for this book, a lot of common complaints were people just really disappointed and frustrated that this book didn't really entirely explain the world building. And I definitely agree with that. This book, it hints and teases at the world building. You kind of get enough answer to some degree, but you still leave this novel with a massive amount of questions about the background world building, which is intense, and there's like some morally ethical questions you have about that doesn't really entirely gets explained, But I also kind of feel like the background world building is not really the point of this book in some ways. I think Stuart Turton is kind of going after other ideas and other themes and messages, because this book definitely has a lot to do with, I think, identity, the identity we put on ourselves, the identity we put on others. I think the whole idea of redemption, personal redemption. It's tackling a lot of kind of other things that are more kind of character central. And like I mentioned as well, this book is most certainly genre bending, because how do you even classify this book? Like I said, it is, on the surface, a murder mystery. It's very comparable to something like Agatha Christie, for instance. When you open this book, you're given the idea that you're in like the early 20th century, like somewhere in the early 1900s, perhaps, is kind of where I was getting the idea. You get the idea you're somewhere there in time, and you're at this big, huge, grand estate, and this young woman, Evelyn Hardcastle, is returning to her home, her ancestral home, and she's being thrown a homecoming party, essentially. That's kind of what we're opening up with this book. So you kind of have those shades of like Downton Abbey, for instance. But as things get deeper and darker, as you continue into this narrative, it starts to turn into the... I don't know how much people are going to understand this reference if you've not seen the show at all, but it starts to turn into the TV show Dark on Netflix, the German TV show Dark, and I love that show. And that show has a lot to do with time travel. So that's where we get into the next kind of genre of this book. This book is not only murder mystery and kind of like historical fiction in its own way, but also science fiction. So to continue into more of the narrative and how we get to kind of some of the, not necessarily time travel really, but the science fiction elements, our main character, who we don't really know is our main character until you gotta get maybe a good 50 or so pages into this book, I think. Our main character, his name is Aidan Bishop. And we kind of quickly find out, and I don't think this is a spoiler because the back of the book, the synopsis, pretty much kind of spoils it for you. Aidan Bishop, he is waking up every day, repeating the exact same day, but in a different body. Somebody who is a guest at Evelyn Hardcastle's homecoming celebration. And he has like 8 days, 8 bodies to figure out Evelyn Hardcastle's murder. From the get-go with this book, you know Evelyn Hardcastle is going to die. Once again, I mean, it's a spoiler right here in the title of this book. So, yeah, this book, it almost seems like it's all over the place, you guys. But to me, it's not. And I just love the fact that this is just a mix of murder mystery meets Downton Abbey meets science fiction. I found this book to be just captivating and gripping, thrilling, really unique and original and clever. And more than anything, it kept me guessing. I was determined to figure out what was going on before our main character, Aidan Bishop, figured things out. I was determined to figure things out. And when I kind of thought I had things figured out, something else would happen, which would throw me for a loop, and I'd have to start back over. So our main character, Aidan Bishop, he has a life outside of what is going on in this book. Once again, some of the world building, it gets delivered to you very slowly, you guys. It's a very slow burn, but I think very enjoyable. A lot of Aidan Bishop's character and his story is revealed to you little by little as he is inhabiting each different body of a guest at this homecoming celebration. And I really liked Aidan as a character. As you do get his story revealed, he's very complex. I think he's really flawed, he's really human, and like I said, some of the themes of this book, I think it has a lot to do with like self-redemption and just identity reflection and whatnot, you know. So I really found him a compelling hero to this story as he's kind of struggling with things going on around him that he doesn't really have control of. So he has to figure out, well, what do I have control of in this situation that I can escape all of this? Because yeah, that's the thing. If Aidan wants to return to his normal life, he needs to figure out the death of Evelyn Hardcastle. Who is the murderer? And I also really highly enjoyed all of the other characters, I guess, in this book, because a lot of the other characters that you're with are Aidan, you know, as he's body hopping and body swapping. A lot of it is him, but yeah, each host body that he's inhabiting, they all kind of have their own unique personality as well that's kind of meshing with his personality, because he starts to kind of collide with those other personalities. You know, there's his brain plus the host body brain. So that's all kind of works out in kind of weird, funny ways as he's kind of fighting and battling out against the host body versus his own mind, you know. So overall, I love this book, you guys. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. I just, once again, it was just so unique and clever and original. And I appreciated that Stuart Turton, he just thought so wildly outside of the box when it comes to murder mysteries. You know, I've read so many murder mysteries that it's kind of gotten to the point that there's just got to be something that really wows me about a murder mystery, because it's, once again, it's kind of gotten to the point that sometimes I will figure out the ending. You know, I may not be totally spot on or totally correct, but a lot of times I can kind of semi guess the ending. I can semi guess who the murderer is. You know, I can kind of sense some of the connecting threads before they happen. And yeah, I did not have that similar feeling like I do with traditional murder mysteries while reading this book. Once again, Stuart Turton just thinks so widely outside of the box that it makes this book so interesting and compelling and unique, and constantly keeps you guessing and speculating. And yeah, it's not going to be for everybody, unfortunately. Like I said, a lot of things that are happening in this book, a lot of it doesn't really get answered or explained, and you kind of, you have to think, you have to be the intelligent one and kind of guess and assume what Stuart Turton was going for, because there are a lot of hidden deeper themes and messages going on way in the background of this book. Because yeah, the deeper hidden meaning, thematic messaging kind of going on in this book, it really kind of just hits you. It hits you hard when it kind of finally gets there. And it does, it leaves you just really thinking about this book. This is the type of book that you're going to leave it, that you're just going to be sitting there kind of thinking about it for a while. And I think that's effective. You know, I like when a book remains and lingers with me, that I'm still thinking about it and still questioning it. I think that's a sign of good writing, if it leaves me with that feeling that I want to know more, and I want to kind of fill in the blanks. So I think what I'm also trying to say, Stuart Turton, he is treating you like an intelligent reader. He is not treating you like an idiot. He is expecting you to work this book out. He is not here to spoon feed you information and spoon feed you a satisfying conclusion, or spoon feed you perfectly little wrapped up tiny bows. You know, he wants his reader to think outside of that box alongside him, and he's expecting you to be intelligent and comprehend what's going on without him having to tell you anything. And I like that. I like being treated as an intelligent reader. You know, I don't like, I sometimes don't really like an author kind of hand delivering me things on a silver platter. I like to kind of think things out for myself as well, especially with a murder mystery. So you guys, that is it for my thoughts and feelings on the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. In the comments below, did you guys love this book? Did you hate it? Just let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.